Pete Bosonic and I met in college our sophomore year.
I met Mike in civil engineering classes at Michigan State University. We were in a team project together and soon found out that we had a lot of similar ideas and traits, and we developed a friendship from there.
Our program was a pretty small program. There was about 45 different students in the program, civil and environmental engineering. And we just gravitated to one another and developed a pretty good working relationship.
So in college, Mike's if you've seen him, is a stocky, strong guy. At the time at Michigan State, Percy Snow was an All-American linebacker for Michigan State. Mike Kulka bench pressed close to 500 pounds and beat Percy Snow in the bench press contest.
There are rumors about bench press contests that I was in my freshman year against Percy Snow, who ended up going to the NFL and was a star player for Michigan State. That is in fact true. At the Michigan State IM complex, I did compete against nearly everyone on the football team except Tony Mandrich, and I beat everyone. But Percy Snow was probably the toughest one, and he actually invited me to be on the team, and I told him I can lift weights, but I have no business being on a football field.
We got out of college in the early 90s, which was when the environmental laws were just passing in the state for environmental cleanup, and the industry was very new. Mike and I both worked for the same company at the time, and our boss, who we'd worked with for a few years, had an opportunity to start his own business. He approached both Mike and I and said, hey, would you guys be willing to come with us and have an opportunity to be business owners?
And we immediately took the bait and quit our jobs and had no business plan and no business sense and no business even making that decision.
We went along with him without just on a handshake deal, being a naive businessman. We had not got involved with an attorney or anything at the time. And once we were on board for a few months, it was pretty clear that we were just going to be employees, and we decided, hey, we could have done that at our previous job.
Nonetheless, we had discussions for several weeks and ultimately decided that that wasn't the right fit for us, and we launched the company.
That was 1992, and that was when all the environmental laws were just passing, so it was really a great opportunity in a new developing industry.
I've worked with PM Environmental for 25 years, virtually from the day they started. I owned the building that they were in when they worked for someone else, another company. And on the day that they had asked the other owner that they wanted a piece of their business or to be partners with them, and the owner said no, they were standing outside when I pulled up, and I said, what's going on? They said, he didn't want us to be a partner with him. We're starting our own company. They were standing outside with their boxes it was the proverbial, here's your pencils, here's your markers, you're out of here.
Like any entrepreneur, you don't even really know what you're doing until you dig in, and it seemed like at one minute we opened our eyes and we're a 25-person firm. So you don't think about if you're going to fail, you just think you got to keep your nose to the grindstone every day to keep a paycheck coming in and to keep the lights on.
So when PM first started in business, one of the big opportunities that was out there was a trust fund called the Michigan Underground Storage Tank Financial Assurance Fund, the MUSTA fund, and that was set up to help pay for leaking underground storage tanks at gas station sites. So it was a great opportunity. There was a fund that would pay for up to $1 million of cleanup at these contaminated properties. So we hit the ground running. We drove around, we met with gas station owners, with petroleum oil jobbers that own several gas stations, really trying to identify properties that might have leaking underground tanks that they were going to go through a process of putting new tanks in the ground. So that was a big focus of ours early on, and it really remains that way today.
Corrigan Oil started working with PM Environmental in early 2011. We made a large purchase of a convenience store chain called Wilson Petroleum in Saginaw, Michigan. I've been talking a lot with Mike Kulka over the years to become a PM customer, and at that point we decided that we would join forces with PM. They're second to none in the industry, and one thing that I have found over the years is working with, particularly Mike Kulka, you pick the phone up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He picks the phone up. If he doesn't have the answer, he will find the answer for you and get back to you.
So over the last 25 years, PM's had a fair amount of growth, both geographically and based on the type of services that we offer. We've identified different clientele. We really focused a lot on major banks. So a lot of the large banks, everybody knows the names of. PM has regional master service contracts with these banks. And that's led us into having opportunities in a variety of different states that, starting off in Michigan where we were founded, and following certain clients and banks down the southeast and eastern coast down to Florida, and then kind of building our way back up. So we expanded into several different states.
They are recognized by virtually all of the banks that I work with. And that's a great assurance to me, because when I go as part of the investment process, you've got to have a clean bill of health when you buy a property.
I love being part of a large transformational project. I love driving by a project that had a multitude of services. I think of the Trumbull and Porter project in Corktown. Corktown, Detroit was an area that has seen significant redevelopment efforts in the last several years. The Trumbull Porter was an old rundown hotel, old 4-story, kind of 1960s-ish precast construction that we completely renovated. We used every one of our service lines, from evaluating underground storage tanks to industrial hygiene to brownfield incentives, property tax abatement, phase 1, phase 2, to make this project come to fruition. It had about a $3.5 million investment. I wouldn't stay at this hotel for free the way it was before. I would rather sleep on broken glass. And now it is a beautiful gem of Corktown that we're proud to be a part of. Another project I'm very proud of is the project I'm sitting in right now. Where I'm sitting right now, if you pulled up this carpet, there used to be the bolts of foundation for what probably was a lathe. This was a tool and die shop, and it was vacant for several years.
The Berkeley office for PM Environmental was one of the first projects I worked on with Mike and the PM staff. They were interested, obviously, in moving into Berkeley from, I believe they were in Hazel Park. So we met with the city a few times to go over with them. We went to the city council meetings and got it through past our Oakland County BRA and our Board of Commissioner process.
It was a 1950s building. It was tired, and we were able to utilize brownfield incentives and again use all of our service lines to turn this very blighted property that really needed some adaptive reuse, and we did just that. And we went from having 15 people here to 40 plus now today, and this is a project we're very proud of. The Strathmore Hotel in Detroit is another project that encompasses all of our service lines. It's got affordable housing, market rate, and it's just received some historic designations. So these are the types of projects that we're proud to be a part of, but it could be something totally off the wall, like a beverage distributor where we're helping them access state funds to clean up their underground storage tank release.
We expanded into several different states, which has allowed us to have geographical coverage to service the needs of these big clients. And during that time period, we've added different services that go along with it. So, we do a lot of environmental due diligence, which is identifying if there's reason to believe a property is contaminated. And then from there, we do go out, we do the site investigation to determine how much contamination is there, and how to deal with it, if we're going to do cleanup or some sort of risk-based approach to leave it in the ground.
The fact that they have multiple offices around the United States says that they're on top of their game. They're on top of what happens, not just here in Michigan. They're not like just a local contingent, but they are somebody who is respected and have an operation that they monitor in all the different states that they go to.
Our total success has been a result of us developing leadership teams that can lead all of our different service lines and take charge. We try to give our staff autonomy to make decisions and help grow this company organically as we have, nearly doubling our size in the last 5 years.
And without having great employees, we wouldn't be able to do that. As part of our future growth strategy and diversification of the company, about 4 years ago, Mike and I, the co-founders of the business, decided that we really need to recognize some of our great employees that are both develop work and are key to our operational success. We made them principals of the company by offering them ownership. So we really have a superb team of employees, and we couldn't have the growth we have without having that team.
Well, I think everybody I dealt with at PM Environmental is very knowledgeable. They're very timely, very professional. I think they're maybe a gold standard as far as their knowledge and timeliness.
PM is just the best. I mean, they think of every angle, they think of every way to save a dollar and also to get the project done properly and again on time. You know, if you set a time also for them to be on site, they're there. If there's any blips along the way, they're easy to work with. And one thing about it, when you're in a jobber position or a dealer position, when you're dealing with an environmental company, it can be pretty scary because it's fear of the unknown. And they always make it really comfortable to say, look, here's what it is, but the reality is what it is. But they make it quite easy to work with.
The best experience is when you don't have an experience, where you don't have to go back and have all kinds of problems and questions and things. You know, it's fair, for the most part, those experiences have been fairly seamless. We talk about the problem, we discuss maybe some of the earlier environmental issues that they've uncovered with properties around there. That's another benefit because they've done so much work in Michigan and Lansing, in particular where I invest. They have a pretty good knowledge of the surrounding properties, not just my property. It's a local success story, but it's more than a local success story. They're all over the nation. And that even makes it, you know, kind of neat that I know somebody who's been successful. And I had that initial early experience when they first started.